All right, it is here. Here is the video review for the Prime Wars trilogy, Power of the Primes, Amazon exclusive, or at least that's where it was. Most of the places, I think a lot of online stores now have pre-orders up for him, although they may be the Takara version. I don't know. It's Punch Counterpunch, the Double Spy, Punch the Autobot, Counterpunch the Decepticon, both sharing a vehicle mode and, as it happens, an actual physical body. So here he is. He's a car. His vehicle mode is really nice. It's a nice slick blue car with those nice red rims. Rolls fairly decently, although again, I am on a bumpy surface here, even if you can't see it. But yeah, fun little car to play with. A nice looking car, very shiny, very smooth, very slick. I'm very happy with his vehicle mode appearance. You can see he stores his pistol here on a little tab up here under the bottom. We'll show it off in a minute. He does have a port built onto the top that you can attach the included prime armor slash fist slash foot thing, even though he is not actually a combiner figure. He does not have the port. He does not combine with other figures, sadly. But yeah, you can just plug this in onto the back of the car like it's a big engine or something. Although it doesn't want to peg in because it's being a butt for the video. Come on, go in there. Anyway, you can attach it right up here. I'm giving up. There we go. Just took a little bit of effort. There we go. So you can attach it right up there. It does come also with a transparent blue, ice blue looking version of Prima Prime, who I now know is in fact pronounced Prima Prime and is a dude. I was saying Prima before, only because when I see that word I think like prima donna, which makes me think of Phantom of the Opera, which is a whole different thing. Anyway, so there's the differences between the two. You've got the original one that came with the Throne of the Primes and Optimus Primal over here, and then a transparent ice blue version. Even the head is only painted on the sides, and the back of the peg is left unpainted, so you get a nice cool face glow there. Still think I prefer the original, but hey, you know, mostly because if there were more detail picked out in silver, I think around, like even of just the outline of this, some of the thin lines are painted silver and still have that ice blue, I might dig this one a little more, but just being completely ice blue with just that blue paint on the back, I would have liked maybe a little bit more silver detailing around the edges on that. But yeah, a little Prima Prime. And you can, which still sounds ridiculous to me. Anyway, and you can put that in the armor so he can wield, as his line designation suggests, the power of the primes. You can put any prime in there, but he comes with Prima. So yeah, there's that. I'm not going to really talk much more about this accessory. It can attach to the chest of either version of the robot, but if he doesn't actually combine, I think this piece is just silly. But anyway, you also get the instruction manual, which is printed on a nice glossy paper, not the and very legible. It's not the dark gray print on dark gray paper that a lot of the instruction manuals have been lately. Very easy to see what all the steps are for the transformation, highlighted in blue. Really nice presentation on the instructions. I usually don't go too in-depth on the instructions, but I felt like I wanted to point that out because it was a nice step up from what we've been getting lately. Shipping-wise, and this is, again, only because it's unique, or at least different, that I'm pointing it out. It does come in a box in its own special brown mailer, which has a real Bandai Tamashii type feel to it, but it comes in its own little individual box, and then inside that is a really nice boxed packaging with the art and the pictures on the back. Let me lift this up just a smidge here. Packaging on the back here. All the steps, Prima Prime. Some nice artwork on the front and sides, like even different artwork on the side. You can see the Pounce and Wingspan, not Pounce and Wingspan, Fascinating Cloudraker up here, who I would compare him to, except they are at work. I wasn't expecting him to be here today. When I left for work this morning, it still said it was not going to be here until the 24th. And then got to work and checked my account, and it said, oh, it's out for delivery today. But yeah, you got Punch and Counterpunch here on the box art. And then you open this up, there's a little reader thing in here, basically telling about the Prime Masters and all that stuff. Nice box packaging. Prima Prime comes up here in a small little window. The window on mine's a little smushed up, but I'll live with it. And then pictures of all the little Prime symbols here. I don't know if you can see that in the side of the packaging, a dark gray on a black background, so they kind of blend in. But yeah, don't usually talk too much about the packaging, but I thought that was a little something special. I know, like, I think Repugnus and Grotesque, or what was it, Repugnus and what was the other one? What was the other? Oh, Blast Off. May have come in similar packaging, but this is my first experience with it. Anyway, onto the car itself. So here he is in car mode. I've shown that off. The gun, like I said, there's a little slot on one side of the gun here and the handle that goes on. Only one arm has it, but there's a little tab here on this arm that you can store the gun on. You can kind of already see Punch's chest and head in here, although I do have his visor down. But it's actually a really neat transformation, both from car to robot and then between the two robot modes, because you transform him, you split these open like this, almost kind of like wings. You can be a submarine or something. And there's kind of like a smaller hidden fake chest canopy windscreen under here. But you open that up and flip these down around the knees. Split it like that. Fold the windshield piece in and then up into this panel and then close it up. And then you've got his feet done. Doesn't have flip out feet or anything, but he's pretty solid regardless of that. And you can see there's the Counterpunch legs. Come up here, untab the arms from the side of his body. There's little pegs here. Pull these out to the side here. And then take this middle piece, open up the whole chest panel here, fold it in once, fold it in twice, fold it up a third time, and the chest is done and ready to go. Get those shoulder pieces out of the way. He's got his Counterpunch hands out, and you see his visor flips, does the same thing as the old toy, flips over and over, so there's Counterpunch's face revealed. And then these shoulder panels, you kind of rotate up and down onto, down and around onto his shoulders, so the wheels stick out to the side. Give him his pistol. And there is Counterpunch. He's got a ball joint out the head. He can look up and down. Actually, he can look significantly down, which is nice, and a little bit up. But a nice neck joint that isn't a super exposed neck joint, but still has the freedom of movement to actually be fairly posable, which is nice on this guy. Ball joints at the shoulders. Up here, a little bit of the hinge there for the transformation. Bicep swivels, hinged elbows. No wrist articulation because they flip around for the mode. No waist articulation. Oh, no, he does have waist articulation. Oh, I love learning stuff like that. Swivels right there. Ball joints at the hip along with a thigh swivel, although it's very tight, so be careful. You're more likely to do something like that and pop the hip off trying to swivel it. And then the hinge knee here. And then no articulation in the foot. But all in all, that's a nice looking robot. I'm very happy with that. Here he is with Power of the Prime's Dreadwind, just to give an idea. So he's a little taller, probably because he doesn't have the combiner gimmick. He's a little bigger overall than your standard Power of the Prime's Deluxe, but not significantly so. And to turn him into Punch, remove the pistol, push the fist in, and that'll automatically pop this little panel out, and that'll rotate Punch's fists out. Go ahead and fold down his Decepticon symbol so people don't know. Pull that down like that. You can fold down, when he's in robot mode, you can fold down Punch's Autobot symbol as well. But if that's down, flip that up. And then you don't even have to rotate the arms. You just swing him around like that. Flip his visor up to show his nice face-plated head. You can leave the shoulders like that, but the official transformation, well, I'll show you the unofficial transformation, but first you have to lift them up. You kind of have to rotate them around on this post here. So they're kind of sit up here like this. We're not done yet, don't worry. But lift them up kind of back to where they were in their car mode position. That's where they are for car mode. Now, personally, I like to bring them all the way down, as far down as you can on the arms. They just don't stick up as much. You just kind of fold them down like this and have them sit behind the arms there. And you can get them a little lower than the official transformation. And there's Punch. Now, the official transformation, you lift them up, you can see there's a little tab here and a slot in the door. Somebody mentioned like not to do this because it's stressing the plastic around here. I have not noticed any of that on mine. I will keep an eye out for it. But basically, you rotate this down and then you kind of have to get under here to push it into place. But you snap that, peg that into the little hole there, and it just kind of holds them in place. And I like that too. Like, just don't leave them sticking straight up like that. I think that looks ridiculous. Although, again, your toy, do whatever you want with it. Please don't let me describing stuff dictate how you display it. If you like them up, put them up. But there is his official transformation to punch mode. Again, with the pistol. Same articulation as Counterpunch, he's just turned around. So he's got the same ball joint neck, visor, same ball joint shoulders. A little bit more limited with these pegged in, but not much, honestly. They've actually got a pretty decent range of motion, even with these big shoulder pieces on. Bicep swivel, elbow, waist, hips, blah, blah, blah. We've shown it off. And just for the fun of it, here he is with Power of the Prime's Dreadwind. Make sure everything's in focus here. Was that all out of focus? I'm going to check that. So yeah, the shoulder fix. I did it because if you look up here, like if you see this, you can kind of see there's a squared off edge here on the top of his shoulder. That's because I flipped it. If you see nothing but curved, smooth roundness, you want to flip them. And it's very easy to do. You just want to kind of, you can get a screwdriver up in here. Do I have one? I have one here. I don't know if this is flat enough to do it. But you just kind of want to pry his chest piece out just a bit. And you can take the arm, pop the arms off at the ball joint. But you just want to, sure, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. You can pry this blue piece out. There's just enough clearance. You kind of have to hold this open, but you can pull the peg out like this. And you can see there's a squared off bit. You want that to be on top. If you don't see that squared bit on top and you just see round like that, you want to flip them. Because when it's round, it will go up, but it'll go in further than it needs to. And it'll cause some issues pegging the whole thing together. But when you have the square piece up, it actually, when you fold it up, you'll feel a little bit of pressure and it will actually click into place just like that, because you don't want it to go straight up and down. You want it to be at a slight angle like this. That holds the arms and the hood pieces in the proper position and lets everything tab together properly. If you have it the other way, it's very easy to get it misaligned and cause some issues. Very easy fix. Like I said, you just kind of, you don't want to pull it apart. There's just enough range of motion in this plastic. Don't be super rough, but you can get those pegs out and flip them. It makes a huge difference. I tried to transform them into vehicle mode without doing it, thinking, oh, maybe mine's fine. I can't remember if it was supposed to be square or smooth on the top, and couldn't do it. And then I checked a video and I'm like, oh, nope, I have them wrong, and fixed it. So very easy to do. There's a thread on TFW. Just dropped my battery pack connected to my phone here onto the floor, but it does not appear to be broken, so all is well. Anyway. Anyway, so there it is, Punch Counterpunch, Power of the Primes, Amazon exclusive. Very cool. Like, he's definitely going to be one of my carry around with me robots, because he can be both an Autobot and a Decepticon. I love his car mode. I think his vehicle mode is very nice, and his robot modes are both fairly cool, and the fact that they can swap between them is really neat. So definitely one that if you can still get your hands on, get it, because I think he's a really fun figure. Like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with the clear Primer Prime. The regular Primer Prime's going back on the Scepter of the Primes, or the Mace of the Primes, or whatever it's called. And the extra hand will go somewhere. But I don't really want to use a whole lot of the... I probably won't use the Prime Armor with him. I think he's great. Just as a standalone as is, the armor and the Prima are really just kind of a bonus. Oh, this came off. Let me pop it back on. And as I mentioned, you can, if you flip the logo down, you can plug that Prime Armor on either robot mode, if you wish. But, I mean, it was nice of them to include it. It was a neat way for the gimmick, and as a, if it came with a combiner limb, makes sense. They just kind of tossed it in here with this. And it would have been nice, honestly, if they just scrapped that and not had this hole in the top of his vehicle mode. But, hey, that's a minor quibble. I really like the detailing on him. The little tech bar here underneath his Autobot logo. Just some like the details in the windscreen. Some really nice engineering going on here, and a fun figure.